Ooh, the misunderstanding in Montgomery. Skin so soft, body lotion and sunscreen flying all over the place.
I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million bills. Where's my pen? Bitch, I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas.
I haven't seen a race war like that since the late Michael Jackson tried to decide if he was black or white. People ask me, was I going to talk about it? Are you kidding me? It's all I want to talk about. People are studying those videos like they're the Zapruder films from the Kennedy assassination. At first, I thought it was a video from outside Walmart on Black Friday. Poor black people and poor white people beating each other to death over those $200 TVs. But somebody said, oh no, that's over a boat. Over a boat. I like it like that. Everybody with an opinion. Everybody saying it's racism. I don't know. I don't know if it's racism or not. I don't know what was said. I don't know what precipitated the whole thing, you know. That's why I waited a little bit, waited a couple days. I know I'm a little late to the party, but, you know, I like to get the facts out there before I comment on things. So I don't know. Could there be racial undertones? Sure. But you ask me, that's how you end racism. That's how you end racism. Listen to me now. That's all you need every now and again. People got to get their frustrations out. Trust me, if people stayed out of it, if it wasn't for social media and the media, those black and white buck-toothed hillbillies will be best friends next week. You just watch. Just watch. They'll be best friends. They'll be having beer. Everybody loves a little tussle every now and again, a little wrestling. You know, they love that down there. They'll be best friends. That's how you end racism. You got to get the frustration. You got to let people get their frustrations out. I understand the frustration. Black people frustrated because of hundreds of years of slavery and oppression. White people frustrated for the last 150 years where they couldn't own slaves. I get it. I get it. There is an upside to being on the ownership side of slavery. I get it. It's very frustrating. But some things we should be in unanimous agreement on, black or white. Thank goodness no one was killed or seriously injured, right? Also, if you find yourself in the middle of what appears to be a race war, meet force with equal force. Don't start picking up chairs and cracking people over the head with them. We don't need that. That's not necessary. I'm a little surprised there wasn't more condemnation of the guy swinging the chair around. See, people seem to be okay with that. Now, come on now. If one of those white guys had come off that boat with a bat or something like that, you wouldn't have been okay with that. You know, don't make me the bad guy all the time. Don't make me have to straighten these things out. You can't have it both ways. You got to remain consistent. You can't say that the people at the Capitol on January 6th were using deadly weapons if they were using flagpoles, let's say, you know, and then say that the guy using the chair wasn't using a deadly weapon. Don't make me out to be the bad guy to point that out. You know better than that. You can't go around whacking people in the head with a chair. Simple as that. All the rest of it, just some people getting out their frustrations. That's where it should stay. That's where it should be left. That's all. I know a lot of white people are very disturbed by the video. You know why, don't you? Because of that black kid in the water swimming. They're asking, have black people been pretending all this time they can't swim? That's what they're asking now. You know, that's the stereotype. Black people can't swim. Black people can't swim. And then they see that. It's like when Lois Lane found out Clark Kent was really Superman. They're like, wait, whoa. What is with the black kid swimming? If you take the distance he traveled and the time and overlay it with the Olympics, I bet you he'd come in third at the Olympics. So white people are going, we thought black people couldn't swim. We think they've been pretending. It's like back in slavery days. If you were black, you had to pretend you couldn't read. I think that's what's been going on with swimming. Very disturbing. Another takeaway. Somebody needs to introduce the Mediterranean diet down in Alabama. You people don't have mirrors? You know, ribs are not a vegetable. That should be the punishment. That should be the only punishment, with the exception of the guy with the chair. I mean, he might have to, do 60 days in jail, something, for what he did. But everybody else, make their punishment. You got to eat broccoli. That's all. You got to eat broccoli. Another takeaway, Do black people just break out in song at any given moment in a nanosecond? I mean, just on beat, in tune, in time. Move, eh? Get out the way. Get out the way. Move, eh? Get out the way. Did you hear that? Did you see that video? They just break out in the song. What was that boat filled with backup singers for Beyonce? I don't know. In all seriousness, I'm glad most people's immediate instinct seem to find humor in the situation. I'm glad of that, rather than hatred. People seem to find humor in it rather than hatred. Even with the racial undertones, most people didn't get carried away with calling for this or calling for that or condemning this or condemning that. You're always going to have the usual suspects on both sides who see an opportunity to elevate themselves by pouring salt into an open wound in this country. But hey, no one was seriously hurt. So yes, chalk it up to good old-fashioned Americans working out their differences the best way Americans know how. Swift and blinding violence. Everybody defended their own. However it all started, what was said, whose fault it was, don't put the boat there, move the boat, don't touch my boat. I'd feel some kind of way if somebody tried to move my boat. You know what I mean? We don't know how much that boat cost. I'm talking, Alabama dollars. So, but still, it's a private property, so you're going to get upset. You're going to feel some kind of way, but then you can't react in a way, you do. You get it. You get what I'm saying. It's, it's wrong, but it was so right at the same time. But everybody defended their own. You see women getting hit. You see your friends or your family members, whether it's a sister or a mother or whoever, you're going to jump in. Regardless of whether you're in the wrong or you're in the right in jumping in, you're going to jump in to defend your own. You see a black guy on the ground getting kicked and stomped by white people, you're going to jump in. Whether you're in the right or in the wrong, you don't know, you're going to jump in. So let's just chalk it up to that, right? Let's just chalk it up to that. Let's not make it out to be more than it needs to be. Let's not start sermonizing. Let's leave the egos out of it. And I truly do believe those good old boys down there, they'll become best friends. You don't believe me? See what happens if all the white people and all the black people in that fight show up there next week and there's a group of white people and black people wearing Auburn University football jerseys. Watch how quickly they unite with one another against them. You see what I'm saying? Let's move on. Other news. Trump indictment 3, right? What was the first indictment for? Do you even remember? This is the third indictment. What was the first one? The second one was classified documents. This one's related to election meddling, trying to overturn the 2020 election. What was the first one? It was Stormy Daniels, right? The Stormy Daniels payoff. You got to think about it. You know what? Just dismiss that one. Just dismiss the whole Stormy Daniels thing, right? Listen, I know the rule of law, but should we really be trying to put Donald Trump on trial for things that are so cartoonishly stupid? Now, just hear me out. If it were anyone else, I would say, hold him accountable. You got to hold him accountable. But Trump, this third indictment, one of the conditions of the release, the judge said, you can't break the law. That's a condition of your release. You can't break the law. Now, how the heck is Donald Trump supposed to go 24 hours without breaking the law? That's like telling a stripper you're not allowed to take off your clothes. Well, how am I supposed to make money? You tell Donald Trump you can't break the law. Well, how am I supposed to make money? It's cartoonishly stupid to be going through all these legal wranglings on some of this stuff. Part of the third indictment, as I understand it, because, again, rabbit hole I'm not looking to go into. Part of the third indictment has to do with these fake electors. We keep hearing the fake elector scheme, the fake elector scheme. But the media never really explains what the fake electors scheme was, what that was all about. Maybe some people who follow this stuff closely, but they just say fake electors. Do you know what the fake elector scheme was? Again, as I understand it, you've seen it in movies all the time. Someone shows up and says, "Hi, I'm Dr. Igor Spectrumology. I'm here to pick up a briefcase with $1 million. And the people say, "Oh, okay, here you go, Dr. Spectrumology." Then 10 minutes later, the real Dr. Spectrumology shows up, and that was the scheme. That was the plan. People showed up and said, "Hey, hi, we're the electors. We're here to vote for Trump." And the people said, "No, you're not. You're not the electors." Cartoonishly stupid. How did they think that was going to work? What did they think was going to happen when the real electors showed up? Oh, too late. We already voted. No takebacks. What? How do you even come up with a plan like that? We'll send these fake people to go vote for me, and nobody will notice. I've asked many times, what if you succeeded and convinced Pence not to certify the election results? What if the January 6th thing had worked? So we just go past Biden's inauguration date, trying to figure out what happens next? If Pence didn't certify the election for president, does that mean the entire election is null and void? So Democrats still hold the House? What then? Impeach him again, I guess? I mean, seriously, cartoonishly stupid. The stuff that we got to put this guy on trial for now? How was that supposed to work? Someone please ask him. Do you think if you just remained president, Democrats were just going to work with you on an omnibus? I mean, I joke, of course. I mean, I guess if there's evidence someone broke the law, you have to charge them. You got to put them on trial. You know, man, it seems like a frustrating waste of time, a lot of this nonsense. As far as the insurrection goes, I mean, things he said, things he did, it's hard. It's hard to prove he incited or ordered people to do anything. You know, if you play 10 different clips of him saying, oh, it's going to be wild, show up on January 6th, or, you know, we got to take our country back by force or whatever, he's always going to refer to the one time he said, do it peacefully, do it peacefully. So it'll be hard to prove in a court of law, we're talking, court of law, not court of public opinion, court of law, that he directed anyone to do anything, fake electors, insurrection, whatever. As far as proving he knew he lost the election, that he was doing all this when he knew he had lost the election, that's tough too, because we're talking about Donald Trump here. One day, he accepts he lost the election. The next day, he firmly believes he didn't lose the election. So just because you got him on tape saying, I lost the election, doesn't mean 3 days later, you won't have him on tape saying, you know, I won that election. I didn't lose. I won it. So that's what you're dealing with. Again, in a court of law, got to prove he knew. Most people say the most serious case is the documents case, but he can always say he didn't even know classified documents were in those boxes. You would have to get him to admit those documents were classified and he knew it, and then have proof that he mishandled them. In a million years, you're not going to get evidence like that.
Trump, in this recorded conversation, he's allegedly speaking with a writer who's working on a book about the Trump administration. And according to the indictment, during that conversation, Trump seems, at least, to show this writer some documents that he says are classified. Now, you can't do that. A, you shouldn't have classified documents after you leave the presidency. But B, you shouldn't be able to show them ever to somebody who's not got proper security clearances and a need to see them.
Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. Wow. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Yeah.
I just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, you know. Mm-hmm. Except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. But look at this.
Cartoonishly stupid. Let's move on. What else? Barbie. The Barbie movie. Now, you know, I would not bring up Barbie without there's a purpose. I bring it up to tell you, people on the left, at this point, they're telling you to your faces what they're doing. All right? Stay with me here. I'm going to explain. First, listen to this clip entitled Issa Rae and America Ferrera, who starred in the Barbie movie. Issa Rae and America Ferrera on how Barbie is now empowering women. Listen to this.
It does. I mean, the movie's incredibly self-aware and kind of identifying all that we've put onto Barbie. You know, Barbie is a woman-made doll, and yet society has kind of placed all these expectations on her. And, you know, I think about I played with Spider-Man growing up, and Spider-Man never made me feel the way about my self-esteem, you know? But for some reason, this doll has been considered the epitome of womanhood, the epitome of perfection, and the movie examines that in a really smart way.
Yeah, I was never a Barbie girl growing up. I didn't play with Barbies. I mean, I think mainly because I just didn't really see myself reflected in that world. But what's so brilliant and what I loved so much about Greta's genius script was that it expands Barbie land and the narrative, this dominant and really influential narrative in our culture, to include so many more of us who never got to see ourselves in the Barbie narrative. And so it's very cool to be a part of this moment.
So again, Issa Rae, America Ferrera, from the movie in an interview gushing about how important and empowering Barbie is. In the beginning of the interview, they talked about how progressive Barbie Land is because it has free healthcare and free education. And I could play you literally dozens of clips from the media of people on the left gushing about Barbie and Barbie Land. Okay? In other words, making it out to be more than just a doll and more than just a movie about a doll. When you do that, there's a good chance you're going to get this in return.
This movie is not just a piece of shit. This movie is a flaming piece of dog shit piled atop an entire dumpster on fire, piled atop a landfill filled with dog shit. It is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. On every possible level, it is a horrific movie. The only thing that can be said for this film is production design.
First of all, don't ask me why he talks like that. I don't know. Second of all, that's Ben Shapiro from his show, from a clip entitled Ben Shapiro Destroys the Barbie Movie for 43 minutes. He went on like that for 43 minutes. In the beginning of the clip, he sets a Barbie doll on fire and throws it in the trash. Okay? So now, based on that, what's the reaction from the left? Stay with me here. What's the reaction from the left? Before I play a clip, some of the reaction from the left was to laugh at him. They go, ha ha ha, this idiot. What's wrong with him? Well, what an idiot. What a fool. Look at how he's reacting to a movie, to the Barbie movie. So some people reacted on the left. Some people reacted with laughter. Other people reacted with outrage and anger. Listen to this.
It's a movie about a doll. I thought y'all would be happy. She has no genitalia, so there's no sex involved. Ken has no genitalia, so he can't be. It's a doll movie.
I'm so taken by some of these right-wing men who have all these thoughts on masculinity. Oh, yeah. Like somehow the Barbie movie is going to make them feel emasculated. No, caring so much about it is honestly the most emasculating thing I could think about.
I think the last
wasn't that Ben Shapiro?
Yeah.
Because if you're sitting there and you flipped it on a head and it was...
He looks like he should be in the Barbie movie.
So are you with me now? Are you with me? Stay with me. I'm getting to the payoff. The left builds the Barbie movie up into something more than just a Barbie movie. The right responds because the left is gushing. So they pan the movie. The left then responds back to the right's fake outrage with real outrage at the fake outrage. And what's the outcome? What's the thing that I have consistently on this podcast tried to explain to people on the left, even though people on the left say all the time they get the game. They know the game. They know the fake outrage game. They say it all the time. We're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. And then they fall for the banana in the tailpipe every single doggone rootin' tootin' time. Listen to this.
It's like, well, you're the ones who decided that Barbie was not just a movie about a child's toy. You decided that it was a movie about the power of feminism, and it was so important that every child had to see it so that girls could be empowered. And then I'm like, well, I think that it's a crappy movie. I don't think it's funny. I think it's kind of stupid. I think that it promotes a bad message. And you're like, oh, how dare you be upset about this movie that's going to earn $1 billion at the box office?
You did set the doll on fire. Let's
it's a Barbenheimer joke, first of all. So second of all, I made a lot of money off of that. And so they asked me, my producers came to me and they said, with all the money that we made off of that Barbie review, what would you like to do with that? And I said, well, you have to keep investing in the business. So we obviously have to buy like 800 more Barbies and set them on fire.
Set them all on fire.
It's
arbitrage.
That's right. You have to keep investing in the business. You don't pull out until the business is essentially done.
Man, he talks fast. I don't know why he talks like that. He really talks like that. I'm not altering his voice in any way. But I hope you got it. I hope you heard him. Keep investing in the business. I made a lot of money off of that. Get me more Barbies to burn. He lays it out for you. He tells you to your face what he's doing. You gush over the movie. He pans it. Then you get mad at him panning it, and you talk about him. You do exactly what he wanted you to do. Again, the left says they know this, but they can't stop themselves from doing it. And hopefully, if you hear a guy who's taking advantage of you saying, I'm making money, get me more Barbies to burn to keep them talking about me so I can make more money. Hopefully, if you hear it from his own mouth, it'll start to click. You will stop tweeting Marjorie Taylor Greene. Stop tweeting these people. Stop sending endless tweets repeating every nutty, crazy, silly thing they say. You're doing exactly what they want you to do. Osh, kosh, bagosh, people. Excuse my language. If you go to YouTube, there is clip after clip after clip after clip of people on the left talking about this guy and talking about him reviewing this Barbie movie. Clip after clip. There's his one clip talking about the Barbie movie, and then there's a million clips of people talking about him talking about the Barbie movie. Does that make any sense to you? I would know nothing. 90% of the people on the left, 99% of the people on the left, doggone it, would know nothing about this guy if it wasn't for people on the left telling them about this guy. Does that make any sense to you? I'm telling you about him to tell you to stop telling people about him. There's a guy laughing. Guy on the left, laughing. Yeah, go buy more Barbie merch. You know, big dummy, go buy more Barbie merch and burn it. You're spending your money on Barbie merch. How much does a Barbie doll cost? You know, the guy's making millions. Ben Shapiro is one of the top guys on the right, if you don't know. He is one of the top 3 guys in radio, in podcasting, on the right. And that's what he does. All day, every day, that's what he does. Get the left upset so they'll talk about me. That's all he does. That's his formula for success. And the left cannot help but oblige. That's it. I'll wrap up. There's other news, obviously. Inflation numbers came out, mostly flat. You know, some people say, oh, inflation's up a tick. It's mostly flat. You know me. If inflation was, I'd tell you, I'm not too happy about it. But groceries and gas, that's what's killing us. Food and gas. Those are the prices that stubbornly keep going up. What else? Supreme Court upheld limited sales of ghost guns. Oh, that's nice. Well, that's nice. You just can't make a gun in a 3D printer and sell it to anybody you want. Unlimited. That's nice. Way to go, Supreme Court. Amy Coney Barrett sided with the liberals in that case, 5-4 decision. What else? Some guy in Ecuador got assassinated. What else? Women's soccer team lost. That sucks. I like watching the women's soccer. I really enjoy their games. Their games are, their games can be exciting. I'm not a big soccer fan, but I have to admit, I did like watching the women, and I only got to see one match, their very first match against Vietnam, and it wasn't even that good a match. So I'm sorry to see that they lost. Oh, well. People on the right are blaming Megan Rapinoe, by the way, like she lost every game for them, like she missed every penalty kick she ever took in her life. It's funny, but, what are you going to do? What else? That's it. The last thing I'll say, obviously, pray for the people of Hawaii, people of Maui. Can I say something here? Let me just say something. These wildfires always spark debate over climate change, all right? The hurricane, they say, has contributed to the wildfires and what's going on. Enough with the debate, the quote-unquote debate. I say quote-unquote because some people aren't really debating. They just refuse to even entertain the notion that the climate is changing and human activity has something to do with it. So, okay, fine. I've said this before. Enough with the debate. Debate over. Fine. There's no climate change. You win. You win. There's no climate change. Let's switch to renewable forms of energy, not because of climate change, but because it's the natural progression of life on this planet. Because it's the smart thing to do. Everything with technology gets smaller and more powerful. Just about everything. Most things. Computers, phones, radios. Remember that big, huge console radio we used to have? Even TVs. You know, the screens are big, but they're flat and they weigh about a third of what TVs used to weigh. So everything in technology gets smaller and more powerful. Renewable energy is technology. Solar, wind, all that stuff, that's technology. And they will get smaller and more powerful. Any objections people have, any limitations that may exist right now, they will be solved. In a matter of few short years, one solar panel will store the equivalent of 1,000 solar panels. It's the natural progression of things. In a couple of years, the batteries for electric vehicles will go 200 miles further. Then they'll go 300 miles further. Then there will be batteries that don't require any plug-in charging. Oh yeah, they'll be self-charging. And they'll last 5 years, which is longer than a lot of people keep a car. And then you come in and you get a new battery and the old one gets sent off to be recycled. That is what will eventually happen one day. They will develop batteries for vehicles that you don't have to plug in. They'll just last for a number of years and then you get a new one. That's the natural progression of things. If you allow it to be the natural progression of things. If you don't stand in the way of the natural progression of things. And why would you? Why would you stand in the way of this? Oh, what, because you want to have a fight over climate change? Fine. Like I said, fight's over. Fight's over. No more fight over climate change. It's done. You win. So now what reason do you have to stand in the way of pursuing renewable energy? What reason do you have to stand in the way of that? Don't you want that technology to be produced here in this country, in America? Somebody's going to produce it. Somebody's going to win that race. Don't you want it to be America? It's where we are going to end up. Guaranteed. I can't guarantee you everything scientists has ever said about the climate and what's going to happen in the future is accurate. I can't guarantee that. I can guarantee you this is where we're going to end up with technology. Somebody is going to develop the new technology for energy for the foreseeable future. Somebody, some country, somewhere. That I can guarantee you. Shouldn't we focus all our resources on making sure that's America and stop arguing over whether or not it's really as hot as we think it is? Or I guess you could just go live in Barbie land. Ooh, thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Remember the people of Hawaii. Find out where you can donate.
Well, I was raised underneath the shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, you know. Sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine, where the peaches grow. And my house is not.
I don't trust myself to give out links. I know some people say, call this number to donate, text this, click on this. I'd rather not do that.
Cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
I don't want to give a link and then find out it's some kind of scam. So find out where you can go, where you can help the people out. They really need it. Man, that's bad over there. What a shame.
It's funny how it's the little things in life that mean the most. Not where you live, what you drive, or the price tag on your clothes.
Come on.
There's no dollar sign on a piece of mind.
Sing that song.
So if you agree, have a drink with me. Raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken fried.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to share. Please, copy, paste. Go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, anywhere you get podcasts. Copy the link and paste it. Paste it to your Facebook, paste it to your Twitter, paste it to your Instagram, paste it to your Threads. Don't forget to rate the show. don't forget to, what else? Subscribe, rate, and share. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Why can't you do that? You can't subscribe, rate, and share?
I thank God for my life, for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly. Let it ring. Salute the ones who died. The ones that give their lives so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like our chicken fried.
Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.
Jeans that fit just right, and the radio. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of my precious child, and know a mother's love.